Thoughts on the season now that it's done?
What, are you going to go back on your podcast and talk smack about us? And I was like, have we talked smack? I feel like we've been pretty good. But now I'm proving you right. We're going to pour
Now we are.
I think the hate, quote unquote, comes in when it was like, hey, we're going to do everything right. And then now we're already making a change.
This is like all of the best athletes in the world.
Well, some of them.
We never.
Yeah, towards
It
the end,
was planned to be all of them.
Do y'all like the double points thing?
I don't know if it's really a competitor what CrossFit offers.
Yeah, like I made more money competing this time than I've ever made in my entire CrossFit career.
I mean, that's a big pro.
I mean, I think it's a big thing.
Yeah.
That's
I
huge.
think it's definitely trending in the right direction of like getting people paid to go do these things, which is helpful.
I guess the question there is like, how long are they going to want to keep throwing free money in?
Yeah, it depends. The revenue model has to get built, I would say. You know, I don't want to say anything bad, but I also like don't have great things to say because I was having a lot of doubts and feelings, and a lot of that at this event was.
Can y'all hear everybody?
Hello,
Yeah, can
test.
you hear us? You have no mics, man.
I mean,
no headphones.
He has a mic. I'm like,
You
he
have
has
yours?
a mic in his
Yeah.
hand.
What's that he's holding in his hand then?
All right. So first thing you're going to notice is we got the table back.
It's back.
This room is not set up yet. It looks ghetto, but you're going to enjoy this ghetto look for a while until we get
Build it out over
You know
time.
what?
Build it
It's
out
rough
over
and
time.
rugged.
I was sick for a week or so. As soon as I got back from my Christmas trip,
It was more than a week.
we were
Yeah, you
supposed to
really
do-
ruined the filming of this.
We were supposed to do a WFP review on Denmark and then what we thought of the overall season now that it's done. We were supposed to do that a week ago, but here we are now.
Happy New Year.
So we got
Chris
Matt,
got the plague.
we got Coach Matt Gilpin, who was also a challenger at two
Turn
of the
pro.
stops.
Turn
Turn
pro.
pro. Yeah,
And
come on, give me that
he
title.
got that invite up to the pro.
That's like Corn Ferry Tour. Got that pro card.
Yeah, I got the pro.
So many people dropped out. He got up to pro on the last one.
Congratulations,
Trav
Wendy.
did all of
I did
them.
pro. I
was
did pro the whole way.
He was a paid guy.
Yeah.
And then Max coached.
I paid my way everywhere.
So with all that being said, fellas,
Take it away.
take it away. Thoughts on the season now that it's done?
Trav, I think you should start.
I mean, thoughts on the season overall? I think
And hold on, are you giving your personal thoughts? Are you giving like thoughts from the outside world?
It's Travis. It's going to be personal thoughts.
Well, I mean, why does it need to be on the outside?
No,
You'd be
all right,
asking
that
my
was-
personal opinion,
yeah,
right?
it's just framing my perspective.
Well, get out of here. How else would you want me to word it?
The following words have been sponsored by a guy who's got paid by this company all year. Go ahead, Trav.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, it works. That's why we endorse certain companies. No, I think overall, I think it was really cool. I think it was kind of neat to see a whole season around something actually tie all the scores together to kind of like at the end predict it. I think once you got to Denmark and seeing two different leaderboards, that was kind of confusing. So even if you were winning the whole weekend at Denmark, you could still be in the third heat, which to me didn't really make much sense.
It did line up with the winners, all right?
Hold on. I didn't watch, or I obviously wasn't there. You're saying that they...
Hold on, man.
You didn't even support
no,
all of
that's
us?
That's
Come
not
on.
why I'm jumping on you.
I
but
went to early Christmas with my family when that was happening.
You said we weren't going to talk about Denmark to start.
No. What I was going to ask is he said that the heats were organized by the overall leaderboard and not the...
Correct.
Yeah.
So there was the main leaderboard from tour stop 1 and 2 that had the overall points of like where you were ranked. And then out of that was seeded going into the third one for placements, heats, all of that. So if Matt, for instance, he went 1-1 on the swim and then, I don't know, took like a fifth or something, he would have been winning overall. But the way
He would have been winning Denmark
Correct.
overall.
But I
he's-
still would have been in lane one.
And the lane,
Yeah.
the leaderboard that you were looking at for WFP, basically the finals was set up as like the same way the PGA Tour finals is
FedEx
set up,
Cup.
that when you win that tournament, you're kind of like...
we already starting. So if
there's
you start with,
for this
yeah,
kind of thing?
Yeah, a little bit, but the first year they rolled that out, they got a huge amount of hate, and the rules have changed over time. Like
I was gonna say, to me, just-
semi-confusing.
Just
like,
hearing that seems weird.
yeah.
it made
I mean,
the last event not feel as much like a normal comp because
where it was like all on the line of who wins.
Yeah.
Where it was like,
Yeah.
it was kind of already predicted who was winning.
most of the people I was listening to or associated with were more focused on getting the tour card and like getting whatever overall placement they could get. And that was just different to being in a competition where it wasn't only like, how do you do well right
Okay,
here?
that's on me, Trav. I got locked into
No.
Denmark specifically. Zoom
No,
back
but
out.
but I think like anything, there's going to be learning from that, and next year it'll be interesting to see like how they handle that and what are the steps. I mean, maybe the final one isn't worth double; it's still just worth single, the same way everything else is.
Why was it double?
No info on next year yet, right? Did you get an
Not.
or like do you get an offer? Or
I got
anything?
an email that said pretty much like, "Hey, you'll have information coming in the next few weeks."
Oh, okay.
Hey, real quick, all three of y'all, do y'all like the double points thing?
And
And is there precedent in other tour things that they do that?
I'm going to be more biased based off of how I hurt my back and broke it at tour stop 1. So I pretty much took like a dead last at the first one. So for me, the double points was
super helpful.
super helpful.
so
just
ignore
based on
that.
Yeah.
But I think from like a normal standpoint, I think not being worth double
you
would
think-
probably be fine.
Do you think it would be better if it was like the problem to me? I think the double points was okay, but the problem to me that I see is that there was 2 tour stops, and then the final was worth just as much as 2 tour stops combined. So if there were like 3 tour stops and then a final that was double points, I feel like that would probably even it out a little bit more.
But I still feel like the same thing would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
is there
like the
precedent in
idea
other tour things?
Well, I think most of it in other tours is just the prize purse is bigger. Like there's elevated events.
Yeah.
People go to the majors because they get more money. I don't think they add more points to their. Do you know if that FedEx Cup
no.
in tennis or?
so from
No, well, I
talking
mean,
to
you
Will,
would
do you
go-
know why they did double points?
I didn't like. I don't. I mean, I talked to Will. I don't know, maybe like once a month for an hour or so, but I don't like. We don't go granular into like details and stuff. And I feel like at some point it would be like he has to keep things secret from me because I'm still coaching in the space and stuff. So
Well, I feel like you
Yeah.
could ask that one. Hey, man, why is it double points?
yeah. I mean, I think some of it, like if I'm just being objective and looking at it, is they rolled out a sports season in like 4 months.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. Like that is amazing. And I think like in a lot of ways they severely over delivered relative to my expectations because I thought that time pressure was going to make it too hard to do. But I would imagine part of the problems they would deal with at the end of the year is that they like built, hey, this is the rule book. And if they made mistakes in the rule book 2 months into planning, they can't just like go in after event 1 and be like, oh, we're changing the rules now in year 1. So I think like the real,
Except
like,
for the drug thing.
yeah, was there a drug one? Oh,
yeah,
the cannabis thing?
thing.
Was that changed though, or it was just,
It
Well,
was
that's
like
above my pay grade.
It was
thought
like
was.
they said that they adjusted it to meet other sports, like to be the same as other sports.
what was it written originally?
It was like cannabis
I
was
don't
on
even
the
remember
any cannabis products were part of the banned substance list, but it was like I don't know what the other sports were, but in
there's a couple
various
that
other
have, like-
sports, it's okay.
Yeah.
And they just adjusted it. Their wording was like, we've adjusted it to reflect.
Yeah, like the
Other-
yeah, but
I was
see how
gonna
much hate they
compete
got. They got so much hate, and then I got high,
I was going to compete at WFP.
and then I got high. Yeah, I think that, and that got a lot of hate. So I would imagine that like it's just hard to be like, oh, this is what we're gonna do, and then you know you can't change it a million times.
Well,
in
no,
year
I think
one.
the change is a good thing. I think most people would probably be like, yeah, you could let the cannabis slide. I think the hate, quote unquote, comes in when it was like, hey, we're going to do everything right. And then now we're already making a change. But you could look at that one or two ways, like, hey, we're making a good change and learning, or dang it, we didn't have our
yeah, we didn't have our
shit
ducks in
dialed
a row.
in.
Yeah,
I mean, they were at the closing ceremony. They were pretty good about. Jason Ansley came out and he was like, "We're going to make mistakes. Give us a little bit of grace.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for being patient with us," which I thought was kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I
that
mean, they
were
really
like,
have
"Hey,
said all along.
Yeah.
but that-
Yeah, I mean, I think
take
to even
off.
your point of
feedback.
like it being 4 months to make 3 events happen, and from like an athlete side, from a timing perspective, information giving ahead of time, workouts ahead of it was done pretty well,
Yeah.
right? Like little things, of
I
course,
could definitely nitpick
briefings
'cause
and
I
all
can-
these
yeah.
things could definitely be improved, but from like an overall standpoint to do what they did in a 4-month, 5-month time span was pretty impressive.
I watch some of the content that does like hate on it. Keep my perspective balanced, and I think some of the opinions are super relevant, so I listen. And I don't think that everything that's said is unjustified. I think some of it I'm like, I understand that. But I don't think that it's taken into consideration that, hey, this is like we're a year into the project. That's like insane what they've done in that period of time.
Yeah, no, I agree. They've done something insane in that period of time. I'm pretty sure that the criticism and the veracity of that it comes, is that even a correct word I'm using? Sounded
like
cool.
intensity.
Veracity with which
I think it
is
comes
delivered.
in direct proportion to their saying, hey, we're going to do this and we're going to do it right. And like,
Yeah.
I think you remove all that kind of how they came out, like, hey, we're going to do it better. We're going to do it blah, blah, blah. Then I think you have less,
social uproar.
intense, like
Scrutiny.
it's like, but now it's like exciting to be like, oh, you missed that. It's like,
Yeah.
because mistakes were going to happen.
It was like Conor McGregor walking out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it goes both ways, right? Like there's so many things that CrossFit does that we've all just learned over time that you just kind of like push it under the rug and like forget about it and move on. Where I think everything that they're doing is just under a microscope and everybody feels like they're a keyboard warrior and can say everything they want.
Yeah.
Where
And
it goes both ways.
Yeah, and they got high profile status immediately. So like a lot of the other comps would take 5+ years to be able to build competitive fields that have that many eyes on them. So I think it's just like kind of part of how they played it. But if you apply that criticism, WFP, CrossFit, whatever, like no matter what, all of those are kind of the gold standard of the space. Because if you go to like local comps, I mean, we did the IF3 thing with Mike. Like there's bad comps.
Brandy was supposed to do 2 events, 3 events on day one and did one, right?
Yeah.
Like,
so I think like
there's
you're
levels.
still talking about things that are A players, no matter what, even if you prefer one over the other, or there's like either way, if you're like interested in fitness racing, both I think are products that you're like, all right, cool. These are like best in class, best in the space.
yeah,
And that's
I
my
agree with
personal opinion.
I know when they first started, and I think I said this when I was on Pedro's show, Coffee Pod Wads, I was like, my hope for this is that it kind of does what WCW versus WWE did, where it's like the competition between the two elevates at all parties. Do you feel like that's happened?
I think it has, because the games has come out with the season already. The events and dates of when quarterfinals, semifinals, open have already happened, when usually we're not finding that out till like January almost. And everybody's like, well, what's going to happen? And then now the new rule of you have to get a physical. I'm trying to think whatever else they've added.
I mean,
but
and
they've
also,
been more upfront with what's happening.
I was also at the games this year, and they were, and you've been at a lot of them, but this year they were like way more dialed in. Like I came back, I think, on the podcast and gave credit and was like, wow, we got treated a lot more like compassionately, like we were integrated into the process. I'm not saying coaches were treated as it like we were super special or anything, but I feel
You've
like
been kicked to the curb a lot.
yeah, and you're
step up.
Yeah, it was just a step up in coaches' experience. I think the athletes were definitely way more excited this year. I think they were way more humble in the delivery and honest about like, hey, we're in kind of a tough position. And I think that a lot of that was in direct proportion to like, they almost had to step up this year. Had nothing happened and they were still the only game in town, then they
wouldn't change.
Yeah, I don't know if there would have been
Just
any
like
pressure.
anything. Like there's no pressure to change. There's no reason to change.
Yeah.
We've got by with this for 15 years, which led us to this point in the first place, that now having a competitor forces you to be like, oh, we got to change, or like this group is going to take over what we've started on this side.
I think now with a little bit more time and reflection, I don't know if it's really a competitor what CrossFit offers. Like I think the games is it really is more of a game show when you think about it. It's like you have an annual, and I'm not saying it's not a sport and we shouldn't think about it like a sport, but it's like every year.
Be careful what you say.
Well, just like every year it resets. Everybody has to show up and there's no precedent. There's no guaranteed money. Like it's not really a setup as a sport. They created a sport. I think this and all the other things that have ever existed in this space were really just standalone competitions. This is kind of the first thing that really came out. I guess Grid also came out, tried to make it a sport. But this is like kind of the next iteration of being like, all right, well, let's turn it into a sport. Whether we can or not is still TBD. Like, can you make a revenue model on it? But I don't know, man. Denmark was
Denmark was awesome.
Denmark was really, really good.
I know we said we're getting to it, but it was full and
group
awesome.
with coming out with the drums and everything else. I remember one part running on the runner, and he was in the lane, I think 2 down or something, and I heard a drum, and I looked over because I was like, "What is that?" Like freaked me out. But I mean, the crowd there was awesome.
I went to French Throwdown and Berlin Throwdown or whatever the 2 European CrossFit semifinals were in the previous 2 years, and every year I've been to an event in Europe has been like that. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Like completely packed stands, fully full, very different from phase 1 and 2.
I feel like if you took the games there, it would be insane.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is, and I was talking to somebody about this in the elevator. They're like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "It just seems like everybody cares more." Like, I don't know how else to like say it, but it just seems like the care to watch the athletes and like be there just seems.
You mean fans though, not like people care less at the game.
But do you think that's
but like
because
fans. Like
they're not getting all the big events? So if they had 10 years of games there, they'd probably be just like us.
Yeah.
I don't think I think that's a big part of it. I don't think it's just Europe people care.
But I don't know.
I don't know though. I think it's kind of embedded into their culture a little bit more. Like, I mean, like rugby leagues and I think
football.
Where people,
you watch like a European soccer game, and it's like.
I guess crazy. We have that here with like football, basketball, maybe some baseball, but it doesn't seem like that group of people got interested in CrossFit also. Whereas that in Europe seems to be like they just are like sports people, and CrossFit is like welcomed as a sport.
You don't think 10 years of that
maybe
it would be
diminished? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's a good question.
Sure.
I also think like it being in Europe, my client said this. He's like we never get this like opportunity to see the best in the world.
Yeah.
Like
and all of them.
Yeah, and all of them. Like you go to Rogue and you see some, but like this is like all of the best athletes in the world.
Well, some of them.
We never.
Yeah. Towards
it was planned to be all of them.
We never get this.
Yeah.
So I think that made it like for them was like a really cool thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes it cooler for all of us, even competing. Like, you can hear it. It was loud.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been cheered for like that in my life.
Yeah, it was loud.
Yeah.
The disparity, like if I'm trying to zoom out and I went to Tour Stop 1, there was like a pretty good amount of hype for that one because everyone was like, I knew so many people that like, I just want to see what's going to happen.
Be like. Yeah.
But it was still like not super bumping. Like it was kind of small environment. 2 in Arizona was very.
Tour Stop 1 felt kind of like a good semifinal.
Yeah. But it wasn't loud, and I think because the space was so big and that
first one was
thing,
massive.
Yeah, it was hard to get the like energy vibe. 2, they kind of fixed the energy vibe, and it was like nice and close together. But it was super dark in the warm up area, and there just weren't that many stands, so the vibe was kind of like. And then there was like some executional things that happened that blew up during that one. So like. I don't know. My vibe after that one definitely wasn't super positive, but then going to the finals and
just the whole arena.
Yeah, everything cool. Just like it felt so like such a step up in professionalism. It was a huge
compare it to something I've been to.
I would say Georgia, the Congress Center.
Yeah. Oh, really? It would be like 3 of those rooms kind of rented out. Like one is the
huge
athlete
hotel
area,
that was attached to it. Like
another one's like the storage side, and then you go into like the arena, which would be like the High Rocks floor.
And
or
when
whatever.
you walked in, did it feel, because you go to you went to your semifinal, Trav, and then you go to the games, and when you go to the games, you're like, okay, this is next level feeling.
I mean, when you walked out onto the floor, I remember when we first did like the little tours when we got there, and they just like show you around like where things are, where you go, like the vibe and feeling was like, oh, this looks very well done, like how the stands were set up, the like billboards behind all the lanes where everybody's names were already preset, like just a bunch of little things that were like, oh, that's cool.
The display thing inside of the rig, keeping track of scores.
That was cool.
Was that at every one?
No.
Okay,
that was the first time.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
This is my perception of vibe. Like going to the games this year, it was similar to the size and scope of the games this year. Like the warm-up area was definitely bigger and nicer. The venue was bigger and higher, but like if you went through the vendor village, like it wasn't super, super crowded because there was only, I don't know, a couple thousand people could fit in the seating areas, but then like in it was super high energy. So I'd kind of compare it to that, which would be a step down from the best games ever or the best. I think Wadapalooza's probably had the biggest, most vibrant crowds I've ever seen. More than the games maybe.
But when you're saying a step down from the best games ever, what is your criteria you're talking about?
Like
My
I feel
dad,
like
my dad sent me a video the other day of me doing the 21-15-9 complex. Remember that in 2014?
Oh, in the tennis stadium.
In the tennis stadium.
Yes. Yeah.
And I watched it yesterday, and the crowd,
Yeah.
every seat was filled, and you were like, that was like
Yeah.
the pinnacle of what I feel like the sport was like. Hey, we're thriving.
It literally was the pinnacle.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. It never really healed from COVID. Like prior, and 2019 even was like kind of a chaotic year where they did the national championships and whatever. But like,
Was that the jug year, the couch jug year?
I think it was. Yeah. Yeah.
It's somewhere around there.
Yeah. But that games was
That
still.
was when Evan did that whole little
Yeah.
skit on that.
Yeah, we watched that a little while ago. But it was still crowded that time. There was still a lot of people. There was 150, I think, competitors in each division. So just in individual fields, there was 300 people. Their families came. There was still the teens and teams. Like, I don't know, that vibe and the vibe even in Carson back in the day with the soccer field and the tennis stadium. There were sometimes in Madison where like, I mean, when I'll never forget some of the moments of like Noah winning Mary against Matt, just
that was wild.
hearing the crowd and feeling that that was like real sport energy, I feel like. And I don't know, I haven't seen that yet. Wadapalooza's been maybe close. This event was awesome, but it was too small to replicate that. Like you would have needed another 5.
If you doubled that, it would have been
like a couple thousand more people. But after seeing it, I was like, if they do this shit here again next year, like, and they get more space, it'll be full, I think. Like that was just my impression.
Let's do this. So Max on the coaching front, Matt on the challenger front, and Trav on the pro front. Give us want to start with pros or cons? Things that could be better?
Let's do pros.
Pros first? All right, let's hear the
Trav.
pros.
No, I just started first.
Let Matt start first.
All right, go Matt.
Pros.
Pros from a challenger perspective.
Are we talking like anything? Or is
Yeah,
this
like things from the season.
Yeah, see where you take it.
Okay.
That's good.
I felt like the whole qualifying process was good, right? Everything was pretty clear. You knew when you needed to peak. I felt like the workouts were good. The thing that I really liked from them was like when I qualified for the first one, I was expecting to have to pay like $400-500 registration, which is what we typically have to do for a semifinal, and it was just a link and there was no payment, nothing. It was covered. They're like, nope, you deserve to be here. You did the work to get here. Registration's covered. That to me was like huge, especially considering like I didn't get paid to do CrossFit.
Yeah,
I have sponsors, but none of them pay for my registration.
Here's some dirty chalk.
Yeah.
Clean chalk.
Yeah. So
You got clean.
So like for me, that was a huge a huge pro, not con, pro, that made the season repeatable for me. Because if I had to do that for 3 events, let's say it's $400. That's
It's expensive.
That's $1,200.
Yeah.
And that now starts to become like unsustainable for me anyway, as like a.
I mean, really for
amateur.
anybody in the challenger division.
Yeah, exactly.
They have support.
Yeah.
Was challengers room and board?
No. So we had to
Flights
pay we had to pay our own way to everything. And then I think I might be wrong. Like you'd have to ask like a Lydia or a Linda or something, or an Annika that was actually a challenger that made the pro. I'm pretty sure that, for me, I had to pay for the challenger ones. I had to pay my flights. I had to pay my accommodation. And then for the final, I had to pay my way there, but the accommodation was covered.
Well, you earned your way into pro for the last one.
Yeah.
Right?
So I think that based on what they said to me when I was asking like what's covered, it sounds like if you qualified into pro, you had to pay your flights, but your accommodation was covered.
I mean, I would say the pro is that like no
They
competition
cover it.
really has given money to a sub elite ever, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I made more money.
Unless you had somebody financially back you.
A sponsor.
To like help with
Never
that.
the
Or like the
competition
gym
itself.
or something. But
yeah.
Yeah, like I made more money competing this time than I've ever made in my entire CrossFit career.
I mean, that's a big pro.
I mean, I think it's a big thing.
Yeah.
That's
I
huge.
think it's definitely trending in the right direction of like getting people paid to go do these things, which is helpful.
I guess the question there is like, how long are they going to want to keep throwing free money in.
Yeah, it depends. The revenue model has to get built, I would
Right.
say. Yeah. But I mean,
But
I
for
don't.
now, it's a pro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a pro from his perspective.
huge.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
just
other
getting paid. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
The other things that I would have is like the season setup of being able to be consistent, like, and it potentially and it might just be because it was the first year through and I got lucky
Because you went to all of them.
Yeah, like I went to all of them. I got a 10th and a 14th at the challenges, and that got me into the pro. Like that probably shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Well, it shouldn't have happened.
Yeah. I mean, 8 people ahead of you pulled out.
Don't shit on me. Hey, there was only like 4 in the men's division.
Actually, on that note, if those 8 people didn't pull out and you didn't go to Denmark,
Hang
would
on.
you have a
I
different
just want
view?
to clarify this. 4 people pulled out of the men's division.
Oh.
The women's division had 8 people
okay,
pull out.
okay.
Anyway, yep.
If you didn't go to Denmark, would you have different vibes on the season?
No, I think I'd still have the same. Everything that I'm talking about right now is stops 1 and 2.
And he's also
us.
doing pros, so he might have cons that would
I'm sure I have
you all
some.
think about him.
When we loop back around for cons, I'll hit you with my cons. But like that was nice because it rewarded me for being one healthy, consistent, and just kind of showing up, which I think is good. I obviously would like to show up and do better. And if I had been,
What do you mean? 2 weeks of training going into it?
dude, I had like 2.5, 3 weeks, so it's okay.
Perfect.
But if I'd been like third at the Challenger stops, then I could have been in a position like Hannah Black was or Lydia
or
was.
Ty
where-
in the
yeah,
right,
exactly. Yeah, where I could have put in a charge at the last stop to get into an actual pro card. Like that was my goal for this weekend, was coming into it was to get as close as I could to backfilling into a pro spot if people don't do it next year.
Yeah.
I very quickly realized that it was pretty much impossible for me to make up that many points. I think I made up like 2 spots.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
damn.
Not enough.
But yeah.
My pros as a coach, I would say clarity of a season is super helpful. I'll circle back to the opposite side of that coin, but just knowing, okay, they're prepping for this event, they're prepping for this event, they're prepping for this event, and this is how many events are at each event, definitely makes planning training cycles easier. I don't think the training cycles went perfectly, but doing that, especially if you don't have to do qualifiers, like if you're actually talking about creating a professional architecture to write programs to make people fucking show up fit, I think that is a big positive step pro in the right direction. The energy of how people feel about winning the games or making the games even. Like I was talking to Linda today, kind of debriefing from the event, and we were talking about the first year she made the games, which was 2024. And we had
Linda Casemon?
Yeah, Linda Casemon. And we had like this whole game plan that, goal setting, what numbers we had to hit in training, and like the level of focus and excitement to achieve that carrot at the end of the race was so high. And I feel like after the games event of 2024 and kind of since, it's been hard to get people back to that, like, oh, I'm super excited to go into pain for this outcome. And it felt like in this finals that came back again. Like I was in the middle of a fight to try to get a pro card and watching the Europeans talk about that. And I was like, okay, the energy of the season is, especially if it's professional and paid, is bringing out that thing. Because I think that thing is what really creates a sport and elite performance. So that was a big pro.
And that didn't really show up in stops 1 and 2, but at 3, people were like, "Oh, I could do this."
Yeah. Because at 1 and 2, I was worried. Like I'll be fully transparent. Part of the reason we didn't do a podcast after 2 is because I didn't feel super like good and confident, and I was like, I don't want to say anything bad, but I also like don't have great things to say because I was having a lot of doubts and feelings, and a lot of that at this event was kind of put to bed because I saw, oh shit, when you actually lay out this this trajectory that people can walk and you have a clear storyline, by the end of the story, people are bought in. Like everyone was saying they weren't bought in. And even some of the people that I was with were like, I'm not sure if I'll do it next year and whatever. And then in the heat of the race and battle and the energy of that event, like that changed like that. Like people were super excited, and almost everybody I talked to was like, I can't wait to do this. So that was a big positive.
And are any of those people doing both the game season and WFP?
I mean, I think everyone
big
wants.
question mark, yeah.
I think everyone wants to. That's my take. I think if they make it congruent, they got to think about how the scoring system is all set up and where the double points are and what happens if somebody doesn't show up to an event. And so I think the rule book of that will be to be determined. But I think the people that I know want to do both.
Sorry, that was a detour. Go on with your pros.
I think those are kind of the two. Well, the other pros that I like from and I'm sure maybe I'll have some cons from a programming perspective, but I like that Will got some just clear data. Like I like the randomness of the sport, like some of the workouts in the final, like the running and the heavy cleans mixed together. And when you pair things, I like seeing that. But I think one of the things we sometimes miss in the sport is just seeing what people's like real leveled capacity, like how strong are these people? How fast are they?
Data?
Like we had a 500 swim,
And
just like
it's not 3 attempts
you
on
mean just one
something.
thing?
it's one thing, one data point. It's very clear. It's easily retestable. There's data from other people in other fields that do it. They did
Like even if you take the snatch, right?
Yeah.
Like the games when we've done it, it's been like you
Two
get
attempts.
2 or 3
Yeah.
attempts, and you're like, well, I got to be conservative with the first one.
Yeah.
I can't just like unleash. Where you watched Guy and Tudor like fully just
Yeah.
let it rip, and I mean
Yeah.
to be able to snatch 330
Yeah.
is insane.
Yeah. So we got a max clean, max back squat, or jerk,
clean.
and clean.
Clean,
snatch.
jerk, snatch.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we just had clear data there. We had a 2-mile run. So from a testing architecture standpoint, I like that some of that stuff is in there. And I'd call that a positive. I probably have other ones, but those
All
would
right,
be the
Big
good
Trav.
three.
Yeah, I mean, I think one, being paid is going to be, you know, like,
Don't beat around the
yeah, I'm not
bush.
going to beat around the bush. I mean, I think I've definitely been in the game long enough, and
Hold on, you guys are getting paid for this?
yeah. So I think from that standpoint, that's a big pro. I mean, spending the time that we do to
Yeah, we got it,
even
we got
Matt's
it.
point,
Move
like,
on.
but yeah, to
Move
not even
on,
have,
you greedy money monger.
definitely not.
He's just happy he's not cutting other people's yards right now.
Yeah. So from that standpoint, I would say that I think tying off Max, the information ahead of time of like what we're doing going into it. I do like sometimes the unknown aspect of it, because I think it relies on you to be an athlete. But I think from like a sport perspective, if you're trying to show up and highlight what we do and what we're good at, having the information ahead of time, I think allows us to all perform better. And then you have better races, you have people that can like game it a little bit better, where there's times when we've done like deadlift, handstand, push up, and like the judge doesn't even know the standard. You're like, all right, well, this is difficult because then the first round that counted, the second round that doesn't, kind of thing. But I think the positive of that, of just knowing ahead of time what it is, I think the overall schedule of knowing like, hey, there's 3 events and I just need to be ready for each one of those is really important, because then if, for instance, you do get hurt, like there's ways to kind of like maneuver that and take time off to get healthy to then ramp it back up. I think from a training perspective and being like an athlete is helpful. And just knowing it doesn't all come down to one weekend, right? Like that is also part of the games and it's fun. And that probably makes it mean more when you do make it. But I think having the option that like, hey, I got sick or like I got hurt, but like still had an opportunity at the end of this to still earn a card for next year, to me was like, all right, well, that's a win relative. Like if that was the games, like my whole year is done because of that, which we've been in that situation a few times from random weird things. But yeah, I think those would probably be the pros for right now, just like off the top of my head.
All right, time to poo-poo on it. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Let's shit rip.
No.
Cons. I had a good.
Hold on. Before we do cons, I was talking to somebody at WFP. I won't put him on blast. And
Well, it's a boy. It's a boy.
Yeah, it's a guy who's involved with media, and he was like, "What are you going to go back on your podcast and talk smack about us?" And I was like, "Have we talked smack? I feel like we've been pretty good." But now I'm proving you right. We're gonna pour.
Now
it
we
on.
are.
I wouldn't even call. At least my points aren't I wouldn't call smack. So
Yeah.
one of the cons that I had
Look,
was like,
everything's gonna have cons.
yeah, but it's not
Like,
talking, to me, it's not
yeah,
talking
but
smack. You know
I
what?
feel
Talking
like this
smack's
whole
being like,
thing
this
is
is
like-
fucking shit.
Even when it comes to like Hiller's videos and stuff like that, just because it's a con doesn't mean you're shitting on
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So,
But it could also be.
But it could also
It could be both.
I feel like because most of the things in our space that usually have come out like that.
This man built his whole channel shitting on CrossFit.
Yeah, I
and
know.
people are forgetting that.
Yeah.
True.
God dang.
God damn it. Oh, don't hit my mic, man.
Yeah, it's close to me.
Yeah, like I think my big con that I would have, and I don't think there's a way around this, but like for me, doing 2 qualifiers to qualify to each one destroyed me. Like for me through the season, like that didn't give me a chance to just pull back at all. And this might just be me, like, but it
So
was like,
what would you recommend? Like a challenger one time?
yeah, I don't know if
It'd be tough.
I don't know if that's better.
Yeah.
Like I'm just saying, like for me, that having to challenge in twice was very difficult. And I was lucky in that I didn't have to do like I didn't do. I mean, I did the open and stuff like that, but I didn't have to do I didn't do semifinals or anything like that. I would have if I could have. I just had life stuff. But that made it kind of difficult for me to like stay healthy. Like I was dealing with back stuff all the way from tour stop 1, and then I traveled to Australia and I couldn't really train through that period. I got back from Australia and it was straight into another qualifier, which was, for me was miserable. And then it was into the next stop, which was like, and then I finished that. By the time I finished that last stop, I kind of was over it. Like I didn't want to do anything. And to me, that was a little disappointing on my end because I wanted to enjoy the experience and be there. But I was just, by the time I got there, I was kind of burnt. And that, again, that might just be me and where I'm at in my life, but double qualifying things.
I mean, I know online qualifiers.
Yeah, I'm like the Wadapalooza Open,
like and
Granite
that's-
Games, all of them. Like then
Yeah.
the Open 4 times in one day.
I
Like,
do think your qualifier stress though is less than most humans because almost everything
you don't know
you've-
what my stress is.
Yeah, I mean, I've coached people that are less gifted, so if you're on the bubble, it's a little bit more stressful. I feel
And
like.
I mean, that might be the difference, right? Like I have never, because we're in Australia, because I've spent most of my career in Australia, the only qualifier we really do, unless you're trying to go to Wadapalooza or something like that year to year, is we do the Open, we do quarterfinals or whatever it is, and then maybe we do another qualifier for like Down Under Champs or something. So we're not doing that many qualifiers, whereas like you are used to doing Wadapalooza, Rogues, the game season, like, so maybe that's just my training history, but for me that was kind of stressful and pretty tough, but also something I haven't had to deal with before. So maybe I'm just going to get better at it as I go now. The other thing that I have was I don't like how there was this challenger division and then this pro division, and the pro division was weighted heavier. The reason I don't like it is because so there was a certain athlete that at every tour stop was in the pro division and they would crush the online qualifier. They would get to the pro division and they would take last in every single workout, maybe bar a few. And I remember
there's not that many people in the field that feel like people are going to do so.
You're going to be able to
being private. Like you're giving
it's not
yourself
gonna be
away
private.
here.
Anyway,
you just said everything about it.
but I remember
talking
I remember
You
sitting
just
there.
go look at the
you
leaderboard.
gotta
Go
find
look
it
at the
now.
leaderboard. I remember sitting there and being like, I can beat that guy. Like I was like, I'm in person. I was like, I bet I can beat that guy. And that was like one of my things going into the weekend, like quietly, I was like, I have to beat that guy. And I did.
I was about to say, did you beat him?
Yes, I did. But
But
like
isn't that just by nature of this being the inaugural season and they had to just pick people to be pros?
no, but well, like
Or is
he
this a qualified pro?
qualified.
Oh,
Yeah.
So he qualified in. And
It was the first 2 fields were 20 signed pros and 10 people who qualified in. So he qualified into both of those elite fields.
Yeah.
Well, why didn't you if you could beat him?
Well, and this is the thing, right? Is like, and hey, I thought we were shitting on WFP, not me.
No, this is
We're
Matt
coming
now.
out to you actually.
But what to me would have made more sense is just to lengthen out the pro field. Like it was the same number of heats, same number of workouts.
Yeah.
Like it did, like just
Same floor.
Just make it. What did we have? 50 athletes. Just make it 50 athletes.
Yeah.
Like and just let us all exist on the same leaderboard.
Trav, Max, y'all thoughts when you hear that?
On that.
Yeah, on his idea there.
I mean, to me, there's a big separator, I feel like, from the top 20 to even the 40. Like this to me is like regionals and semifinals where you have the first 3 heats. No offense, but it's just like you're going to a pickup league and you're going to watch and you're like, and then you watch the final heat and there's definitely like a significant difference. I think if you extend that out to that many people, then the quality from like the TV time, people, spectators, like you don't want to go watch people that aren't good and that people in the stands could essentially beat.
But they're going to have to watch them anyway. They're there, right?
And but if you have them, well, I guess, but if you have just like, hey, the pros are going
if you're highlighting
for this 1
the pros,
hour,
like that would be
like
the
you can
pros.
make it more fan friendly without having, hey, event 1 is from 9 to
3.
6 straight hours.
Or even at like Wadapalooza, right? Like there's the elites.
But couldn't they still do that and say, okay, now they just give a different name, but they still all are in the same bucket?
Well, and that was what was hard from a challenger perspective was that we did the same workouts, but they were
like 5 pounds
lighter, 20 pounds lighter or 10 pounds lighter.
Some were definitely.
And some it was just like, I was like,
I'll admit that double kettlebell front squat one, y'all got you were grateful for that one.
I don't know. Like for me, I don't know if it would have made a difference.
What do you think the logic of having it be that way is?
It was so that it was clear for exactly the point that I'm saying was that like if we had the same weight and this particular person, if I went and beat him with the same weight and was in the challenger division on like every workout, then I'm sitting there going, well, I should be in your spot. You know what I mean? Because I showed in person that I'm better than you. But why am I not?
Then if you beat him, that you could say, well, somebody could say, well, it's 10 pounds lighter.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was to me was the
maybe I don't know. I've never got an answer from Will on that.
Yeah, I didn't get a direct answer, but I got.
Yeah, but then there was also no challenger at the final.
There wasn't?
No. It was just a bigger field.
It was all pro.
What is the point of the challenger division?
I think it was to grow, so
I think it's to create more people to get excited about potentially earning a pro card.
Do you think that was a successful thing, or is this going to wash away?
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean,
look, it gave Matt an opportunity to be in that spot and potentially earn.
It gave Matt, and he got very lucky.
Yeah, but still,
think,
right? Like
to grow the sport, I feel. I'll kind of circle to one of my cons, and we can go back if you had more, but I think the pros were like really well taken care of, and that's how it probably had to start. That's how you build a pro sport. You don't build it from, bringing people like me onto the competition floor to do thrusters. But I think from a community integration standpoint, especially in event 1 and 2, there wasn't a lot of like focus on challengers. The team signups were kind of low. There were no community divisions, and like, that's kind of a bummer in our sport because our sport isn't really a fan sport. It's more of a spectator, participator fan.
It's like an involved sport.
Yeah, it's like people watching at Wadapalooza are a lot of times also competing at Wadapalooza. Like they're competing in Tina Hills and walking over to another thing to watch the final.
No longer a thing,
whatever. Yeah.
So is there a way they could do this challenger division right?
I think so. I don't know. I'm sure if I came up with something on the spot now or even brainstormed for a while, there's going to be holes to poke in it. But I think they have to keep that challenger in some capacity. I just don't know how. Or maybe it's all online.
My solution is okay. Maybe there's less spots, but it's 20 signed pros and 20 challengers.
So it's just a field of 40
that challenge in, and you know that when you challenge in, it's like this year how we had the 10 challengers in the pro division. You just make it 20, and then at least those people are all competing on the same leaderboard. Because the thing that happened for me was by the time I got to stop 2, I was like, and it turned out to backfire on me, but I was like, I'm not making it to Copenhagen. You know what I mean? Whereas if everyone's still in this like full leaderboard, then at least there's some kind of like, if I put together a really good weekend, I can still make it. I can still push.
You say weekend weird.
I just thought that too. But
it was even earlier. He would say it Australia and then Australian. You would say it at 2 different points. And I was like,
you make weekend 2 words. Say it again.
Weekend.
Yep, there it is.
Week.
But I think that would have helped for at least like people in my position where it's like, hey, we're trying to challenge to get to Copenhagen. It just helps to keep some of the momentum alive.
Yeah. I think I would. if I were, this is off the dome thought, but if you were to set up a Challenger series that modeled the whole season, if at some point somebody dropped up, the people here could choose to go up. But at the last event, you actually had a competition and a prize purse, and the top 3 got a pro card to the next year. So it's like there's 20 signed pros and there's 3 challengers that win that come in, or like something that makes that thing
Or
almost
even,
feel as exciting as the main thing.
Yeah, even if those challenges, if they still exist on the same overall season points like we did, but those challenges get guaranteed entry next year. They don't get pro cards, but they get entry into the challenger or
competition.
or pro. Something that just like gives you.
It's got to be that's the storyline thing I was saying.
Well, I mean, that like goes to the first, back to the first one, right? Like technically Colton Mertens didn't have a pro card.
Yeah.
And on the spot was then like, hey, he won or had the highest rank at Tour Stop 1. This goes back to like the rules and just kind of like throwing it around. It was like, oh, well, he's now guaranteed a spot at the next one. And then in Copenhagen, you're like, well, where'd you just come up with that?
Yeah.
You know,
that
like,
wasn't part of the rule book?
I don't think
no,
so.
That was
it was like a made up thing at the end. It was
a
like
made up thing at Tour Stop 1. Like, well, now they're getting an invite to the next one, which
I mean, that would
fine.
be my next con. Like, is that, and I understand where it comes from. Like it was extremely fast to execute on what they did. I'm sure they knew that. I'm sure they knew they were going to make mistakes. They did say they were open to criticism. I know they maybe said they would do things that would be hard to do that quickly, but I feel like into the next season, it will earn a lot of buy-in if some of these things are just like tightened up and changed. And I would hope that that's more dialed in.
Yeah.
You know?
just
create clarity. Like that's what a sport actually is. It's like, how did the challenger structure work? Even this year at Tour Stop 3, the finals, I was in a situation with Linda where she was mathematically certain she had dropped to 22nd. We knew that there were 20 pro spots, and Brooke did her like last dance documentary, so we're assuming she's retired. I don't know if that's actually true, but
she's done.
Yeah, I think so.
I was in an elevator.
I mean, I talked to her. She's done.
I was standing waiting for an elevator with her, and she's like, I can't wait to do my last one muscle up.
I got the sense that was. So we were thinking 21st, and she had done the math and was 100% convinced that she was 22nd. She convinced me because she was like, well, I did well on that last workout, but you know, Fee was already in 28th and she's only going to drop 1 place and I'm going to drop 2 places and there's double points at this event. So she's going to actually hop me on the overall, even though I beat her on the workout. And she was in hysterics, like crying. And because she told me that, and I was like listening to it and like processing the numbers, and I was like, oh, she's right. Like, wow, that's really weird. And then we get out to the floor and found out the points were updated and she was in 21st and had spent like 2.5 hours crying that she didn't make it. And so I was like,
did she get a pro card?
Well, she's 21st. So like,
essentially when Brooke is like, hey, I'm out.
Yeah, I brought her up because it would have put her out of the cut line, even if Brooke did it, is what she thought. So I feel like just having clarity on all of that stuff, so it's like super clear. Like I was looking at the leaderboard of the competition corner and then going back to WFP leaderboard on my phone, trying to have 2 tabs open. And I don't know, that was hard to be a coach in that moment.
I do think if you are going to be a tour sport, you got to get someone in the media department who can really clearly, well, like you're saying, make the rules obvious and make them so that everybody knows them, one. But then they need to go out of their way to explain it to people like we're 5 years old.
Yeah.
Because maybe you are in Europe used to tours, or maybe you're a big F1, blah, blah, blah. But most people don't know what the hell is happening, and you need to make it where it's like within 5 minutes.
It's dummy proof.
Yeah.
Within 5 minutes, I know exactly what's happening.
Well, I think this is also the first time we've ever seen anything even like this relative to a point system, carrying it over, weighting it double.
Yeah.
Should it have been double? Probably not. Should have just been what it is, and you go into it with X amount of points, and like that's just is what it is, and where you finish up.
Yeah.
You finish
I still
up.
don't like the double point thing.
Yeah, I don't really super like it either. Like I was talking to Trav about this. It was beforehand. We were talking about the snatch being weighted double, or was that on the podcast?
No, that was before.
That was before we
beforehand.
started. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was saying, like, it's nice to get data, but because double points, it was actually double more important to be good at snatching than the other lifts. And that, like, to me, doesn't really make sense. It's like, well, if you're strong in a snatch, it's like over the course of a season, to me, it's like should be kind of equal to a clean, should be equal to a jerk. It's just one movement. So I think little things like that probably need to be taken into consideration in terms of like how you score, how the overall is, how the leaderboard is displayed. Like I'd like to open the leaderboard on the last event. And if it's like, hey, we're only looking at the overall, don't even show me this competition. Just show me the overall. Or
Yeah, that was kind of confusing.
Has someone like Tyler or any of the numbers guys done a what if and redone the whole season if the double points weren't a thing and see how it played out?
I don't know.
I was thinking that, or I would be curious to see if like we say we double weighted the snatch, is like, what if we took all of the tour, the Copenhagen events, and we put them in tour stop, like we made it that worth the 100 point or the standard points, and we took tour stop 1 and we doubled the points.
Well, Travis would drop a lot.
Well, yeah, I would be curious to see, like, if you just flip flopped it, like, would it make that big of a difference? If you took the double points away, would it make a big difference? And just see how it stacks, because I feel like that would.
I definitely think it would change it.
Yeah.
Like,
I said this as a con though, but in the event, it definitely brought in some like drama and excitement. Yeah. So I think like it could be improved upon, but maybe not as big of a con as like it not
just
being
being the
perfect.
first time.
Yeah. Do you have any cons? I feel like
I think things like that.
Yeah.
Kind of like where the communication, the clarity of what's actually sometimes happening, the rules.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, how is this actually going? But I think we've talked about this, but so many people get caught up. Is it worth double points? Is it 50 points? Is it 100 points? Is this one? It doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, like we have no say in it. It doesn't matter. What's already been happened and produced and put down is done.
Yeah.
But I feel like so many people and athletes even there were just like an uproar about swim still being worth 200 points. And it's like, all right, do we agree with that? No.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. And I think like little things like that where it's just like, even anything at the games, the amount of times we've been like, this is so dumb. Why are we even close to doing this?
Yeah.
But we're doing it, and it's worth 300 points. And you're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. But it's just like, it's the name of the game. And I think the more you can just be like, whatever, like just kind of go with the flow. And I think definitely now in my years of being in the space, I've just kind of like, I've just kind
I
of
was
like,
going to say, this sounds like some at the end of the run wisdom right here.
no, but it's just like,
I don't think earlier Trav would have been saying all that.
yeah, but I also think at the end of the event, there's nothing you can change. And yes, that probably is wisdom of being in the space long enough and knowing that no matter what you say, they don't care and it's not going to change. Yeah. So you just kind of get used to how that flows. So I think like those kind of things.
I talked to Will. So they released the events, and it was maybe like a week later. So it was probably 2 or 3 weeks before the event, somewhere in
Denmark.
No, yeah, somewhere before Denmark. So like sometime in December, I talked to him, and we talked a lot. And at the time, there was like, I think it was a Hiller video that came out about how he would have programmed things.
Great video.
Yeah. There was some hate about the double points going out, whatever. And we were just like talking. And I was actually just checking on him, like, how are you doing? Because I feel like getting blasted in the media would not be something I would like. So
I don't think anybody
like,
likes.
Yeah, I was just reaching out as a friend, like, how you doing? Like that, I don't think that's insignificant.
You think people ever over the years reached out to Dave?
Yes, I actually do think probably some people have.
His circle.
Inner circle for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So I reached out to him to see how it was, and we were just talking, and he was like, so what do you think about the events? And I think about the events differently now as a coach, and I'm also thinking about it through the lens of multiple different athletes. So like sometimes they go your way, sometimes they don't go your way, sometimes you prepped all this stuff and all of this stuff came out in training and you got caught with your pants down, and sometimes it lines up perfect. So I'm like numb to whatever comes out. And I honestly didn't even think too much about there being 200 points for swimming. I was like, well, we've been at the CrossFit Games where there've been 600 points for running and nobody complained about it because they were different distances and stuff. So like, is swimming that different of a skill? And if so, is it just because of access and like they didn't do it at the other 2 tour stops? So like, who cares? It was kind of my headspace, but I don't know why I went on that whole ramble, but I feel like sometimes people are like unfair when they're looking at just these tests, criticizing them with those lenses. I'm like, if you do this with any comp in our space, like nothing's
There's
super
holes
balanced.
everywhere.
There's like judging errors everywhere. There's sometimes lane discrepancies. So I don't want to like
the year we've done all the sleds at the gate. And
Yeah.
you're like, hey, if the winner is only coming lane 7, no. Just those athletes are better.
It's like right where the fan was spitting out water and there's no friction on the turf, or, you know, at
a lot of
Wadapalooza, there's been like sand dunes built in the sand field this year that like stopped people from dragging things. So I feel like I'm just
What's been the crazy detour? What's been the craziest version of like that kind of thing in our whole history?
I think it was, just like kind of a shit show experience.
No, where like
Or you're talking like a
one
movement.
lane was super favorite.
feel
Oh, for sure. We've had years
It
of
was
the game
sleds.
sleds.
Yeah, it was the
Yeah.
sleds on North Park. I actually think
That was that and the year at Carson in the soccer stadium.
that was grass, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
but
that one was
there-
pretty bad too, because those
There
are
was
crowned
multiple
fields. Yeah.
lanes of like how the field is shaped because of how water needs to drain off of them.
Yeah.
They're sloped slightly. And with that, the person that won every time was in the same lane. Like, it's not random.
Yeah, there was some there. I think actually the workout was something like you push a sled down a field, you do like 20 something bar muscle ups, and then you push a sled back. It was like a sprint muscle uppy type thing.
Yeah.
And Noah was in one of the fast lanes. And like I think you were training with him every time like we did anything serious. I don't think he was ever close on anything, including a sled. And it wasn't really that many
Sleds,
muscle
he's never
ups.
close.
And he was like flying. And I was like, that seemed weird. I think he took second on the event. And then it came out afterwards that like everybody in that lane performed really well. So I think it was definitely one of the sleds that became the issue.
The sleds have always been a
Yeah.
culprit of issues like that.
The biggest kind of shit show experience from my perspective, though, was like the Murph year that it was super hot and like the bars weren't covered and people's hands were bleeding and there was
Well, that wasn't like a
2015.
lane discrepancy.
No. That was
That's what I was talking about.
Well,
That's
that
just
was
a, like,
actually
hey-
kind of a lane discrepancy because the people that got there first, because it was so hot, they ran into the lanes to do their air squats in the shade. So there were some lanes that were direct sun exposure.
Was that in the soccer stadium?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always loved that about the soccer stadium. You could
Yeah.
look out there and there'd be that one lane that the
sun's
roof would be blocking
Yeah.
and it'd have like shade.
Yeah. But I
Big
do think
difference.
that's pretty significant over an hour-long workout when it's 100 degrees and whatever,
darn tootin' it
90%
is.
humidity.
Should have got there faster.
Yeah. Survival of the fittest, baby.
Sorry.
But there's
detour.
definitely been a few of those
I feel
across
like
the
that's
board.
enough criticism, negative stuff.
I
or
have
is there
one.
more?
I have one other thing that I
Let
would
it,
like.
let it out, Matt. Get it out.
This is like a criticism, but also a like a good job thing. Was they were very
Compliment sandwich. If you will.
yeah
backhanded compliment.
yeah. So at this stop, they did and they did it for every time for the pros, but they called you out with your little thing and for me, every week, every event, because of the way the points were, I was always in lane 1, which meant I was always the last person on the field. So for me, that gave me the least amount of time to do my lane, and because they're not letting you go immediately, like it's pretty significant from first person to last person.
Yeah.
I had
to do the announcement and wait for you to come out with the smoke and stuff.
Yeah. So I had multiple events, and the worst one was event 3, the parallel handstand push, or event 2, the parallel handstand push-ups and the deadlifts. I was still in the tunnel when it said 60 seconds. So I'm like, let me go.
Yeah. Because you got to set your parallettes.
Yeah,
got to
set. Well, and I didn't get to because of that. I literally pulled my shirt off, stepped back behind the line, and it was like 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah.
And that to me was very frustrating because one, that workout was always going to be bad for me, but my lane. The way you shut up. the way and they can't control this, but the way the Dolomar mat was laid over the floor was the floor was uneven, and I think it was like that for every lane. So that's not a
It
complaint.
100% was.
But
my,
I couldn't.
My parallettes were like on a
tilted.
ramp.
Yeah, what it meant was that I didn't get a chance to actually see where my parallettes could go. So like everyone else got to go out there and like put their parallettes like up against the glass. Like my parallettes were like this far from the glass. I was holding them right towards the ends to try and replicate where I should be. And that made that workout like really hard and flustered.
Yeah.
But I told them about it and they fixed it like that.
Yeah.
And then, there were a couple other things where they forgot to bring chalk out on the floor and but they're, like we said, they're kind of learning and they're figuring it out.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's happened at the games before, maybe where they haven't.
I mean,
It's happened.
It's definitely happened everywhere. Like there's no competition that has got every detail.
Like the bike gear and people's pedals were snapping off and you couldn't, there was no bike for 400 meters. You're like, well, this.
What I
doesn't line
appreciated
up,
from them was like every year that I've been at like Torian or anything like that, while they treat us well there, it would very much be like that's your problem. They were very quick to be like, sorry, we'll get it fixed. And they got it fixed.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that. Like it's a criticism, but I also think that they were very good. And they did this throughout the whole season.
Yeah.
I feel like most of the times they took
take
feedback or something, even questions at briefings and something that would be like, hey, this just doesn't make sense. And then they'd make the adjustment, which I feel like
the jerk thing. Where we weren't allowed to we weren't allowed to drop the jerk.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, well, we're just going to do it until the rep counts.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
I mean, like little things like that, the whole handstand thing when we were going to run over and they were like, no, your feet have to go cross line, but then you step back, like, well, that doesn't make sense. And then they're like, no, that's wrong. Like, so I think little things like that where.
Yeah, briefings actually, now that I think about it, like from a coach perspective, briefings have been a little strange. And like in Tour Stop 1, there was an Echo Bike sled sprint workout, right? Yeah. And Annika was dead. Like she died from the workout and she missed the whole briefing of the next day's workouts of like the details. They had like a get together of it. She was still messed up and she ended up missing one of the standards that was talked about. And then they didn't do like a Tour Stop 2, wasn't it? Just like
they did the flows with the little video.
Yeah,
it was
did
a
like
quick
the
flow of like
flows.
what all was happening, like each workout. But then there was like no questions if you had anything about
like,
movements or the flow. And then it was like, I got a question.
People were
like,
kind of confused and then like asked questions. And then this last one was
so long,
very long.
There was more questions about the swim,
but
they did
it all in one go,
yeah,
which was nice. Instead of calling us because I have another con. They did it all in one go, which was nice. So we didn't have to come back. My con is for me in the Challenger division, we had to be at those briefings, but so we would finish an event and then I would have to wait for all of the pros to go.
Yeah.
And then I would have to be for that briefing. So I was at the venue for
hours.
Is there any reason?
I like the just one long briefing, get it done so that we're not coming back at late or super early to brief it.
Yeah.
But I also think there should be a better system about a refresh going in. Like even when we go over the whiteboard, like this is what you're doing. But like even the final one where I got no rep on the overhead squat and stuff.
You step forward.
Correct.
Yeah.
Every other box we always had to advance. But
they did
apparently
say that in the briefing though.
But then move it to where the dumbbell would end in the final square. Don't leave an open square at the end and be like, don't move forward, but you move forward
almost like a mismatch.
Yeah.
Yes, Christopher.
Is there any reason why all these competitions don't just do a video briefing that they send out to everybody ahead of time, and then you only show up to do Q&A?
This was my thought. And
then on top of that, then you make a video that plays to everybody before they go, as Trav, like you were saying, like your little reminders, like a little hype video before you walk out.
Well, they
Remember
do
this.
Well,
Remember
they do
this.
that in the.
They do that in the back.
You.
They have, and when we're corralled, there's another guy back there that like goes over it.
Yeah, he goes like step by step. This would be my vote, and I don't know if it's logistically possible. They made all those videos, but the videos had like little triangle animation things, not real people doing the workouts. And then they posted them and then they got removed at some point. I guess there were maybe errors in the actual workouts and what those were. But the workouts get released 3-something weeks in advance. Like, I don't know, maybe 10 days out, I feel like just full demos on the floor. Like they don't even need to be going at full speed, but where you actually see the full transition and where everyone's going and where the moves are, literally full workout, quick movement standard of each movement. All of those get sent out a week in advance. You come to the briefing and like that first briefing is just questions for each workout one at a time. And then that's it. I feel like that would streamline it. It might be a lot of video production and might have to be dialed in. I
think that would be worth doing. I think the only thing there would be if they don't have access to the venue, and then whatever
Yeah,
they
if it's
film
10 days
might
out,
be
they wouldn't
different.
have it. Yeah.
You know, like the lane setup.
Oh,
if
like
they can
the
replicate,
run.
if they could replicate
yeah.
that same setup somewhere else.
I mean, I guess, but I feel like you could make it close enough that you could just watch somebody do at least all the stuff on the floor. Because this is, and maybe I'm overthinking it, but when you're watching and you don't really have somebody doing the workout, so they're like, all right, you're going to go over here, and they're going to handstand walk, and just like put their hands over their head like this. And then they're like, all right, round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4. And then they're done, and they go over here. It's very different when you watch somebody go back. And then there were little questions like in the back, Sydney Mikulishin and Annika were like stressed out of their mind about moving the ball on the handstand thing. They're like, am I moving it on 0? Am I moving it from 0 to 1? And like, I was like, that should have just been covered in the flow, like really clearly. Just have somebody run back and forth, move the ball 5 times, and just show it. So that way you don't have to explain it in words to people that are like half listening, tired, and trying to get home to rest for the next day.
I asked that in the when we were in the corral and they were briefing. I was like, so just to clarify, the number that the ball is on signifies the round we are on. And he's like, yes. I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like if the ball's on 1, that's
You're on
round 1.
Yeah.
I haven't been to many briefings, but I think that there's a golden, and no one would ever allow this because it would only serve to shit on everything. But there's a golden opportunity for a beautiful reality show of just briefings.
Oh,
Yes,
I mean,
it would be.
you get to see people be different than you think they are. Like
Oh
it's
my
just
God,
a
the
different
dumb
world at a
questions.
briefing.
Also,
the
one of
dumb
my
questions that come out of those things.
This is one of my favorite things, actually, especially now that I know Will, to watch Will as I hear dumb questions. Just knowing in his head, he's probably like, oh my God.
The bigger
How
part
did you
is
not
like
get this?
somebody would say it and they would answer it. And then 5 seconds later,
Yeah, same question.
Same thing
Yeah.
again. Everybody just
There's
like,
always that one person in class who just
there's
No,
a
no,
lot
there
of,
was like-
there's a lot of people in that
They
class.
briefed 9 workouts. There was probably 7 of them that there was either 2 or 3 repeats
Just
of the same
constant.
question. And I was just like, I can't imagine
I will say
what's going on
I
there.
asked a few questions, but I didn't
At one
think
point,
they
I said they were dumb.
I didn't think they were
I
dumb.
did.
You
I
seem
thought
like
they were
you'd be the
valid.
All of them?
No. He asked one question at the last.
Oh,
briefing.
you're just
Yeah,
saying
and
your question.
I was like,
I was
like,
like,
they
man,
already
I can't-
answered that.
Yeah.
I was like,
feel judgy
No,
now.
oh, do you remember what it was? I don't even remember what
Something
it was.
dumb that
No,
they
it
already
wasn't-
briefed.
It wasn't dumb.
Probably
It
dumb.
was.
All right. So overall, we months ago filmed what we think the WFP will be, and then just how expectations were they met. Good.
What
bad?
did we say? I don't remember
don't
what I
even
said.
remember.
We should pull it back up.
Yeah.
But just from your gut level feel, did they meet your expectations? How?
I would say they beat my expectations
Yeah.
from the turnaround time to the production to the experience from an athlete to being paid on time to covering hotels to the overall experience is just like a general whole. I think they definitely exceeded my expectations. Are there plenty of things to improve upon and work? Yes, absolutely. But from like just a pretty basic how everything operated, how it was all handled, the open lines of communication, I would say
Changing
it was like,
things if like things were called out. They
Yeah.
like actually listened.
I remember
to
at
a lot
tour
of
stop
places.
1, it was
Yeah.
like something with the rope, and then Will's like, we'll fix it. And then people were like, well,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Because it's like almost everybody's used to like defending themselves and having to
Yeah.
provide a lot of feedback. And he was like, no, we messed up. We'll fix it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just little things like that.
I would say they very much exceeded my expectations. The one area that I maybe expected more was the amount of people that participated either as fans or non-elites at the first 2 events. That was not the same at 3. Like 3, I think, was more kind of what I was expecting. But
Yeah, like a lot of people competing.
yeah, well, not even a lot. Just like a
But there was heats.
Oh,
You know-
sorry.
is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry. I misunderstood. Yes. So I feel like my expectations were super moderate, but I thought that the community wanted something else. Like they wanted to participate. So when I saw tour stop 1 and 2, low participation, that was kind of a buzzkill, but I also like it's not like I was expecting those first two events to be like the games, but like some of them was like one team in the field or, amateurs on the side thing.
I also feel
After-
like that's hard too when you look at to try to like
Yeah.
first off put like a competition on like
Yeah.
a mini games or Rogue and then be like, hey, let's now add
Now get signups. Yeah.
like I feel like that's a
Yeah.
whole different ball game versus knowing you have 20 people that already signed.
but 3 completely exceeded my expectations on that front. Cause that one was equivalent to anything I've ever seen in Europe. So I think like generally like 9 out of 10 things they over exceeded. That one thing that I mentioned was for tour stop 1 and 2 was a buzzkill, but 3 kind of like leveled it out. So I say overall positive.
Nice.
Sorry, I rambled.
All right, so we're like 2 months away from the CrossFit Open. Trav, are you doing the Open this year?
That's a good question.
Way to put it in the spot.
No.
Well,
I mean,
you don't
I don't
really-
I feel like I've always done the Open. I've always participated in that. How the whole season with WFP will unfold and my life and all those things, I think, are definitely like different now with all my kids in sports and different things. But I don't know. I mean, I will partake in the Open. Yes.
Yeah.
The only time of the year.
See, I
I
might not
was-
do this season.
I was
but
hoping
I
you
don't
were going
know.
to say no, because then that would mean 2 years in a row I beat you in the Open.
I was going to say the only time
No.
of the year that I get
still
to
did
beat
the
Travis
Open
is
last
like-
year.
Yeah,
You
but I
didn't beat
beat
me?
you.
There's no way
'Cause
you
you
didn't
didn't
beat me
put-
in
did
the
you put your
Open.
scores in?
Yeah, I put my scores
Oh,
in.
He got,
Is it
don't you
Mike I
remember?
beat?
Don't you remember? He got like 3
I beat
beats.
somebody
in the
last
world.
year.
It was like
maybe me.
the first one, I got my face punched in, and I was like, "Oh, I need to like start working out again."
Oh, yeah,
Then
yeah,
workout
yeah.
2, I moved up like 2,000 spots, and then the third one, I was in like top 30, and it was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It was
like-
Mike because of his bicep.
I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Get out of here!" I was like, "You haven't beat
Yeah,
me
yeah.
in the Open."
Oh yeah, you did the season this year.
Yeah.
You did quarterfinals too.
Yeah,
He's
Yeah.
semi.
Well, you better do the
semifinals.
Open.
Oh yeah, online semi. Yeah.
Same
Matt,
thing.
you doing it?
Yeah, probably. I don't see why I wouldn't do at least the Open, and I'd kind of like to do an American semifinal rather than just
the down under.
the Australian one all the
You're
time.
betraying
So,
your people.
yeah, I mean, I
Those
qualified.
dirty
for,
down under dungaroos.
I qualified for syndicate last year, and I didn't get to do it. So I'd like to just at least try and do an American one. I think for me, I'm still going to put WFP
As your
as my priority. I did that this year, and to me, it paid off.
So why not just bypass the season, the CrossFit season?
Honestly, it's probably a FOMO thing.
I think, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I
like-
think they're still the only community driven of all the things.
Yeah.
Like Wadapalooza gets a decent amount of people signing up for their qualifier, but I think it's just people that want to compete. It's not like
Yeah.
the whole community of people doing Wadapalooza. So I think that's kind of what it is.
Yeah, like I think I would.
Well, I mean, I would have said the same thing to someone else if they had said, "Hey, my priority is the game season." I'd say, "Why are you messing with WFP?"
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, it's like if there's going to be a significant clash in like doing a semifinal and WFP, that's where I would have to choose. But like, I can do the Open, I can do quarterfinals, and it's probably not going to mess with WFP,
Yeah.
right? Like it's especially the
I thought
Open.
you
The
said those qualifiers were hard for you.
Calling him out. Just got called out.
At least that the Open isn't going to mess with me. But like, I'll at least do the Open, and then I would probably just go from there and just let it.
Are you
Max,
doing-
you doing the
Max,
Open?
are you doing the Open?
I don't know. Can
You
I do it?
should.
Can I do it scaled if I don't want to train something?
Well,
What do you
then
not want to train?
Or
Then
like
you
it
get
made
beat by
fun of.
everybody.
No, I think thrusters would be fine. I think I just don't really want to train high volume swinging gymnastics. Like I feel like it's going to put too much.
I don't think you get too far into workouts, but that's really going to affect you.
Well, like even 50.
Shots
I feel
fired,
like
shots
would be,
fired.
50 would be enough. It'd mess with my golf swing and my
Yeah.
punching and my
Jeez.
shoulders. Yeah, maybe. I
Chris,
did
are you doing
last,
the Open?
Last year I signed up for the Open, and I did.
You did the Friday Night Lights.
I did one Friday Night Lights, and I did one in the first workout. I was like 3, 6, 9, 12, whatever. And I did the 3, 6, 9 only to see if I could go as fast as Caden Jesper 3, 6, 9 and still lost. So this year, it'll depend on my training, but I'll cherry pick some stuff for sure.
Nice.
I don't want to do the scaled workout because it's usually worse. It's like do 10,000 knee raises for
Yeah.
time.
You actually end up doing more.
Worse is in like
Yeah.
it's the pain.
Yeah, like I get rhabdo from that. I'm like, if I'm going to scale it, I want to be safe.
You doing it, Chris?
I am not doing it, but Carl Winslow
Carl
will be
Winslow
doing
is,
it for
AKA,
his.
AKA you.
I
Yes.
should get you banned. There's probably something in the rule book that says like you have to
You have to be who
have
you
the
say
same
you are.
name as your as your character.
I even bought the collectible they sold last year where they like, did you see that? After you competed the Open, they sent you an email that was like, we'll send you this like framed thing that has your profile picture, all your scores.
Nice.
Yeah, it's hanging on my fridge.
Hold on.
But it has Carl Winslow's picture in it.
Is there, if I asked you to do something, is there any number of comments that we could get on this video that would convince you to do it?
What?
Well, you got to tell me if there's a number first.
Yeah, if we get 103 comments.
Okay, 103 comments right after we do our Thursday video thing. Chris puts on a Carl Winslow police outfit and does the workout, and we film it and we go live on TTT's story.
Carl Winslow. Hey, that's nothing on the Slipknot costume.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Anything,
Anyways,
anything else?
That's it. The Open is upon us.
Oh man, I had fun things from Denmark, but whatever.
No.
No,
I
if
wanna
you
hear
want
them.
to.
Yeah, highlight
People are probably
WFP 3. Highlight
ready
it.
to tune out, but go ahead, hit it.
No, it's too late now.
Do it.
No.
Just
Do you
do it
remember
fast. Do it fast.
you remember the Ido Portal story of me sweating?
Yeah.
So the first day I get there is Thursday. I'm going to meet Linda on Wednesday morning for breakfast, and we're going to run through all of her strategies, get ready to write warm-ups, whatever. I'm jet lagged, so I wake up at like 3 a.m, wide awake. I get work done. I'm super productive. I go down to the gym when it opens. I must have been like retaining so much water from the flight because I biked for like 15 minutes on the Peloton bike, and I was like profusely sweating and worked out. I was late, of course. Take a shower, cold to cool off, stop sweating. And then I walked 30 minutes to meet them for breakfast, and it was freezing because Denmark is cold. So I wasn't sweating, but I could tell like I was kind of warm from so I was walking in like a t-shirt and a hat in like 35-degree weather, and I was like not sweating. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I walk into the hotel, and the hotel has heat on. And I was like,
Shocker.
Right away was like, oh, it's kind of warm in here. I walk up one flight of stairs, sit down at the table. So it's maybe like 100 yards. And by that point, it was like a faucet was turned on in my body. Like it was like coming down off my head, on my face, all over my shirt. And I sat down. It was Linda, Lydia, Lucy Campbell, who I've never met before, sitting 2 spots over to the right. I sit down, and she looks over and she's like, what's wrong with you? Why are you so sweaty? And then it made me like more panic. So I was like, oh shit. And it was like so bad. I'm dabbing myself with napkin. The napkin peels off on my head because my head was just shaved. I had breakfast for 20 minutes and they never told me. So I was walking around breakfast with all the people with like scraps of crap on my head. And I was like, what the fuck? You guys didn't tell me? So pretty much everywhere
If I was
go,
there, I would have said something.
Yeah. I make an embarrassing sweat story wherever I go.
Oh,
That's
really
crazy.
Yeah. So
Can you fix that?
no, I don't think so.
But
you like
He's had that for
Yeah,
forever.
yeah,
Even when he
yeah.
met my
Can you
parents.
rub like deodorant on your head?
Maybe. I don't know.
Is that a
they say
thing?
they say Botox injections if you sweat excessively.
I'm not doing that. I'll deal with the sweat.
Just be like,
Other highlights. Hannah Black's snatch was fucking awesome.
that's what I was saying.
Do you know that there was
Lydia
someone that
was-
snatched more than her in the
Yeah, I
team
saw
division?
that. They gave
Crazy.
away a barbell, and I was
Yeah.
like, why did Hannah not
Yeah,
win
that's
that?
what I thought.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Lydia
What did the
hit
girl
some-
snatch?
I think it was like 235.
Oh, so a couple
Yeah.
pounds more.
Yeah.
Lydia hit some big-ass numbers. Annika had some highlights. You had some pretty cool moments
Finishes,
in
yeah.
there, some cool finishes, some races with some of the big dogs.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to take them down.
Felt good
Yeah,
to
yeah.
finally
Be in the mix.
be in the mix
Yeah.
again.
You
'cause
let out a little bit of your rage about
yeah,
being old and getting called old. on
Yeah,
the-
if I wasn't in the mix, then that would have been it.
yeah.
Who called you old?
When they interviewed me, they pretty much just
They're like,
tried to
"Hey,
interview me.
Travis,
Like,
you're
why don't you
old."
talk about the young guys? And I was like, get out of here. I'm dead.
He's like, what do you mean? I am young.
Get out of here.
With his walker.
Hey, you guys,
should do
you guys
that.
could all say that when I passed you,
You
on
should
the
do
runner
that
parallettes.
at a comp walkthrough with like a walker or
walker.
something.
Oh, my other highlight moment is there was like the field was laid out and there was like one side I didn't really know how to get to. Travis was about to max snatch on that side of the field.
Oh, this was
so I'm like, how do I get there? And Matt's like, oh, I know how to get there and I know kilos. I'll help Matt. I'll help Travis. I'm like, okay, cool. I run over. Trav snatches. He knows how to get up to 280 or 286, which is 130 in kilos. He hits all his lifts and then he misses 130, which is 286. Then he misses 130 again. I'm in the stands and Matt is like close up on the floor because I was like, didn't want to be in front of everyone. And I hear Travis yell 290 and Matt's like pointing to shit and he's loading 2.5 kilos. And I'm like doing the math and I'm like, that looks like it's 297. I'm like, Travis, what did you want on the bar? And he was like, 290s. Like, jumped down and pointed. And Matt was like,
well, I also feel like at that point I had like a minute and 10 seconds left, and it was like
full panic mode.
Well, what do I got?
He looks at me and he didn't even say 290. He's like 90, and I'm like, yeah, he wants 95. That was the plan.
No, 90 was the plan after the misses.
Yeah.
We should
I'm
just
glad
let
we
you,
got
we should
the
just
weight
let you go
right,
for it.
and I could publicly shame you for picking.
I just pulled out my phone and was like, oh,
because I think it was like blue, and I was like, okay, and the Max was like, no, green.
It's green. Yeah, the little one.
Yeah, so much confusion.
and then you hit it and you gave us a big old scream.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, there were a lot of just positive moments and like cool performances, like people swimming that 500 super fast, the Pro 1 races like James Sprague. That was pretty impressive.
I feel like that and the pull up one.
Oh,
I was like, that was impressive.
yeah,
There was some things he did that I was impressed with.
Yeah, there was athletes on both sides, so I feel like a lot of highlights. Pretty cool weekend. Thanks. I feel like also
Thanks WFP for providing a outlet for us to.
Will, hopefully you're still friends with us, even though we gave you some poo poo. We
Yeah,
also gave you
it
some
was all-
positives.
it was all-
constructive
I feel like there was a
poo-poo.
lot. There was more positives than negatives there.
I think so. All right, boys. See ya.
See ya.